Once you have mastered this forward drive feeling, you can start adding deceptive motions to disguise it. Alright, today we're focusing on the serve. Why is your serve not very effective? It's because most players can only produce one type of spin. For instance, if I serve backspin, my opponent might mess up the return at first. But because it's my only spin, they will adapt very quickly. The main reason opponents don't misread your serve is that you only have one kind of spin, with no significant variation. Think of it this way: if Sidespin-Topspin is a 0 and heavy sidespin backspin is a 100, your serves are always stuck in the middle. They're too neutral, so your opponent can easily adjust and return them. You need to be able to serve both a very strong sidespin-topspin and a very heavy sidespin backspin to make your opponent miss. Because the contrast in your spin is minimal, your opponent can return your serves easily. This is most obvious with pushes. No matter what you serve, your opponent can just push it back. So, for those who can't serve sidespin-topspin, even though I've taught it many times, why are you still struggling? Shuai, tell us how you went from not being able to do it to mastering it. I used to struggle with sidespin-topspin too. I think every amateur player goes through a phase where either they can't serve it, or when they do, the opponent just pushes it back. Let me share my journey. I used to try to brush the ball exactly like a sidespin-topspin serve, but I could never produce a serve that would make my opponent push the ball high or long. I realized my first problem was the direction of my force. For a sidespin-topspin serve, you must generate force in an upward direction. This lift is what creates the topspin component. Most of us just move forward without enough speed or any upward lifting motion, which is why the topspin isn't strong. That's the first key difference. If your force is directed forward or downward, it won't work. However, if you add proper friction, the opponent can't push it effectively, and the topspin becomes much more pronounced. Your serve has some topspin, but the spin isn't pure. That's the first point. The second is that your forward speed on the sidespin-topspin serve is insufficient. Even with the right brushing motion, if there's no speed, the opponent can still push it back. An effective topspin serve that forces a mistake must have both high speed and strong spin. You absolutely cannot push a long, fast serve. A sidespin-topspin is a type of long, fast serve. You have to build on that foundation and then add your upward and forward spin. The third point is the contact point on the ball. Many players get this wrong. For sidespin-topspin, you need a vertical paddle angle moving forward. But beginners are afraid to do this. They end up contacting the bottom of the ball, which adds a backspin element that neutralizes the topspin, resulting in a dead ball. These three corrections are what allowed me to finally serve a truly effective sidespin-topspin. First, the direction of force. Second, you have no speed and are only focused on brushing. Without speed, even a spinny sidespin-topspin serve can be pushed back. Third is your contact point on the ball. You must contact the side of the ball for a sidespin-topspin serve. If you contact the bottom, it will always have backspin, and you'll never serve a pure topspin. When you can't serve a proper sidespin-topspin, your opponent can always default to pushing, making your serve completely ineffective. So, let's break down the sidespin-topspin serve based on these three key points. A viewer just asked about dealing with long fast serves. To return a long fast serve, just block it like a defensive shot. Absorb its power. The biggest mistake when receiving a fast serve is trying to add your own power. If you do, the ball will fly off the table. It's the same for many sidespin-topspin serves. Don't use a big swing, start with a controlled block. Okay, let's address the first problem, the direction of force for amateur players. I'm going to serve two balls. Tell me which one is sidespin-topspin. The first. The second. The second one is obviously topspin. As I toss, the racket is below the ball and moves forward. When the racket is above the ball, it's backspin. Even if you start with the racket high and move up, it's still backspin. For a topspin, my racket must always be lower than the ball to create that lift. If the racket is higher than the ball, you can't call it topspin. The ball will sink, and a simple block will go into the net. So, to serve sidespin-topspin, no matter your grip or serve type, your racket must be below the ball at contact, moving forward and upward to generate the spin. That is the most critical point. Second, how do we make the sidespin-topspin serve fast? Most amateurs can't generate speed. For example, I just served a backspin, but its speed looked like topspin. I did this by using a slicing and cutting motion. To generate real spin, you can't just slice down. That creates a dead ball that sinks but doesn't have much spin. You need to follow the curve of the ball. If the ball is here, you contact it and brush around its surface. That creates heavy spin. This is similar to a chop, as it lengthens the contact time and brushing path on the ball. If I only brush like this, the serve will be slow but spinny, just not very fast. But if you only slice downwards, the ball just sinks without much spin. You need to combine the two, first brush the ball to create spin, then slice through it to add speed. Get this feeling, brush, then slice. If you only brush, your serve is like this. If you only slice, it's like this. Combine them, brush then slice. This is how you get a serve that's both fast and spinny. Start your contact here, then brush along the ball's surface. That brushing motion is what adds the spin. See that? I'm following the surface of the ball. Right, you're wiping it, like cleaning a bowl. The slice is a downward chopping motion. That's what generates the most speed. It's like you're squeezing the ball forward. Brush, then slice. Now it's both fast and spinny. If you only slice, your serve will be fast but not spinny. If you only brush, it will be spinny but not fast. A high-quality table tennis shot, including loops, is never made with a single motion. It always involves combining two actions, like brush then drive or engage then accelerate. Amateur serves are often slow because they focus too much on generating spin by brushing the ball through the entire motion. It's the same with Sidespin-Topspin. This is the first type. This is the second type. First type again. And the second type. It's clear the second serve is much faster. The difference is the feeling of the ball accelerating and popping off the paddle. The first one has no explosive pop off the paddle. You need that acceleration. Your motion is too slow and even. A master server's contact is incredibly explosive and compact. There's no hesitation or dragging motion, otherwise the serve won't be effective. Many players are afraid to serve this way because they fear the ball will go long. If you can't find the feeling, practice your long, fast serve first. It's that sharp pop off the paddle. That's how you generate speed. Nothing is faster than a long fast serve. In that instant, you accelerate and then stop sharply. If your whole motion is at one constant speed, you'll never serve fast. The first issue is your overall motion framework. The second is that the contact is too sticky. The ball lingers on the paddle. Watch this. Do you think this serve has spin? Let's have Shui return it. This ball is extremely spinny and difficult to loop. It doesn't even bounce up. Look at that contact. It's incredibly crisp. Now this one has no spin. It's slow and easy to loop back. The problem is you're not getting that quick release off the paddle. Your motion is too uniform and slow. You must accelerate. Serve with intent. Imagine the ball as your opponent. You need that explosive, focused power at the moment of contact. Ultimately, speed and spin in table tennis come down to explosive forearm and hand power. If my contact is sharp and focused like this, the ball will spin. If it's soft like this, it won't. Speed works the same way. This motion is slow. This motion is fast. Watch the way the ball pops off my paddle. That's what players mean when they talk about squeezing the ball forward. What does squeezing mean? It means your acceleration into the ball must be obvious. And after contact, you must brake suddenly, stopping your motion in front of your core. You must have that feeling of acceleration to truly send the ball effectively. Let me show you. It's this feeling. Very compact. Accelerate, and stop. That's how you get enough speed. I recommend bringing the follow-through towards your core, not out in front of you. Stop the motion at your waist. Generate the power first, then stop the follow-through at your core. Don't finish your motion far away from your body, because then you have no breaking point. That final breaking point is crucial. The farther from your body you make contact, the less power you'll have. You must stop the motion here. Like this, accelerate. For a sidespin-topspin serve, where do you contact the ball? Point 1, point 2, or point 3? Point 1 is for a long, fast serve. Now let's try point 3. If I brush the pure side of the ball, how can I make it fast? You can't generate speed by contacting the pure side. So you have to hit the midpoint. With 1 point on the side and 1 on the back, the correct contact point for sidespin-topspin is right in between. Watch this in slow motion as I toss the ball. That's the contact point. Let's serve a sidespin-topspin. The speed is good. That's why you hit point 2. If you only contact the pure side of the ball, you can't serve fast, you can only brush it. If you hit the back of the ball, it's just a fast serve. So, to both brush and drive it, you must contact that midpoint on the backside of the ball. That is our point 2. Watch closely, do you see that contact point? That's how you make it both fast and spinny. If you contact the pure side of the ball, the serve will be too slow. This contact is only suitable for short serves. Look, for a short serve, it's short and very spinny. See, that was a pure side brushing motion. This is the back of the ball. This is the side. Hit the midpoint between them and drive through it. That is the third key point for serving sidespin-topspin. Next, let's teach you how to drive the ball forward to maximize the speed of your sidespin-topspin serve. For long serves, don't use an upward lifting motion. It's too obvious and it kills your speed. For a long serve, you drive forward. For a short serve, you use an upward hooking or lifting motion. A long serve is driven forward. For penhold players, when driving the ball, your back 3 fingers and forearm must actively push forward. If your motion stops here, the serve will be slow enough for the opponent to push it back. But if you extend your forearm forward into the table, the serve becomes impossible to push. It's legal for your arm to be over the table after contact. So, make sure to drive your forearm forward. For shakehand players, you must drive your wrist forward. Our finish position isn't like this, it's extended forward. My entire palm should face forward as my forearm pushes through the ball. If you stop your motion here, the serve won't have much spin. You must push forward. Watch my hand without the racket. The motion is a forward push. That's the feeling you need, not stopping the motion abruptly at contact. If you stop short, your opponent can still push it back. You must use your forearm to push your hand forward. This will make the ball kick. Some might say this motion is too obvious. But as you get better, your braking and acceleration will improve, and you can stop your follow-through much shorter. This process is like learning a hook serve. First, you must learn to generate force sideways. Once you've mastered that, you can create the same spin with a much smaller motion. Once you have mastered this forward drive feeling, you can start adding deceptive motions to disguise it. The sidespin-topspin techniques we taught today are the absolute essence of the serve. You're not pushing sideways, you're pushing forward into the table, towards your opponent. Push forward. For sidespin backspin, you brush then slice. For sidespin topspin, you brush and then drive forward. After brushing, there's a distinct forward push.